If you want to completely transform your life and unlock the power of your mind, this audiobook is your roadmap to unstoppable personal growth and daily improvement. In the next hour, you will discover 10 powerful chapters that will teach you how to master your thoughts, build unshakable habits, develop resilience, set clear goals, strengthen self-discipline, embrace failure, expand knowledge, practice gratitude, surround yourself with excellence, and commit to lifelong growth. Every chapter is packed with actionable advice you can apply immediately to change your decisions, your actions, and your results. This video is completely ad-free, so you can focus fully on learning and growing without distraction. Hit subscribe now and turn on notifications because this channel delivers motivational audiobooks every single day designed to push you toward your best self. Start listening, start acting, and start transforming today. Chapter 1. Master your thoughts to control your daily actions effectively. Master your thoughts to control your daily actions effectively and build a life shaped by intention and steady progress, rather than habit and reaction. What occupies the space between your ears determines what you do next more than any external circumstance. The most powerful skill for reshaping life is the ability to notice a thought and decide how to act on it. Thoughts are movable and negotiable, and they do not have to run the show. Training your mind begins with noticing the inner voice without believing every sentence it creates. That simple habit will change everything. Start with one clear practice you can do every morning and during moments of stress. Pause and breathe for 3 slow counts. Say to yourself internally, I am noticing a thought, and name it like this: fear about failing, or anger at being ignored, or the inner critic calling me lazy. Naming reduces the thought's charge and creates distance. The body relaxes a fraction and the space to choose increases. From that place, write down the thought in a single sentence, and then ask 2 practical questions. What is true right now, and what can I do next? These questions shift attention from problem spinning to immediate practical steps. If the thought is I will fail, then test it by listing evidence that supports failure and evidence that contradicts it. Very often the list that contradicts it is longer but quieter. Choose the action that the evidence supports, even if it is small. Action breaks the loop of rumination. Use a short daily ritual to rewire attention. At the end of each day, spend 5 minutes writing 3 thoughts that served you and 3 thoughts that hurt you. For each harmful thought, write a short corrective belief and 1 tiny proof action for the next day. If a thought told you you cannot finish a project, correct it with a belief like I will work on this project for 15 focused minutes and then do the 15 minutes. This creates proof. The brain updates from repeated small outcomes. Small consistent wins change identity slowly and permanently. Identity is the long game, and identity follows repeated action driven by chosen thought patterns. Create guardrails for your thinking. Identify 2 habitual negative themes that appear most often in your day, such as I am not enough, or nothing ever works for me, or they are against me. For each theme, create a short counter-sentence in the present tense that sounds practical and true. For example, replace I am not enough with I am learning and I complete essential tasks every day. Put these sentences where you will see them: a phone wallpaper, a sticky note on your mirror, or a short recording you play when the morning alarm goes off. Repeat them as commitments, not as pep talk. Commit to 3 repetitions, 1 in the morning, 1 at midday, and 1 in the evening. Repetition anchors a new route for the mind. Practice cognitive distancing when emotions rise. When anger or anxiety increases, speak to yourself as if you are advising a friend. Ask, what advice would you give someone in this position, and answer with calm, practical steps. Use measured breathing, 6 seconds in, 6 seconds out, to lower physiological arousal. Name the emotion, then ask, what is within my control right now? This returns power to action and away from reactive speech. If a colleague says something unfair and the first urge is to strike back, pause and identify the trigger. Then decide one sensible response, such as request clarification or leave the conversation and return later. Choosing the second response changes outcomes and reduces regret. Design the environment to support disciplined thinking. Remove or hide sources of constant negative input and replace them with stimuli that foster clarity. If social media scroll opens a flood of anxious comparisons, schedule 2 15-minute windows for checking and otherwise block the apps. If notifications pull your attention, turn them off for focused blocks. Surroundings influence thought patterns more than you admit. Clean spaces, clear thinking. If the desk is cluttered, the mind tends toward hangover tasks. Create visual cues for your intentional thoughts: a single journal on the desk, a whiteboard with the day's micro goals, a planted reminder that you are building a life through repeated small choices. Adopt a simple morning sequence that aligns thought direction before the day begins. Do something physical to wake the body: 5 minutes of cold water on the face, a brisk walk or a short bodyweight routine. Move for 5 to 20 minutes, then spend 5 minutes of focused journaling on one question. What must I accomplish today to feel proud? This evening, write one prioritized task and 3 micro steps to finish it. Clarify non-negotiables for the day. Those actions you will do even if energy drops. This primes the mind to act from the top of the day rather than react to incoming demands. Protect this sequence like an appointment with a mentor. Use the power of brief mental rehearsals before action. Before a difficult conversation or a presentation, spend 2 minutes visualizing a calm posture, clear words, and a constructive outcome. Imagine feeling steady and choosing a single measured sentence if things go sideways. The brain cannot fully tell the difference between a well-rehearsed plan and an actual memory. Rehearsal reduces fear and increases the chance you will act with clarity. Pair rehearsal with a tiny physical anchor, a ring on your finger, a handshake, a deep breath that you attach mentally to calmness. Use that anchor when pressure rises. Measure progress in specific ways that matter and avoid vague positivity. Track how many days you completed the morning sequence, how often you paused before reacting, and how many times you took the corrective action instead of the automatic one. Keep a simple log: 3 columns: date, action, thought, response, and mark success when you chose the intentional response. A streak of small wins builds confidence in your ability to choose thoughts and to follow through. When you see the numbers, you can change the story you tell yourself about who you are. Practice negative visualization in a disciplined manner to reduce fear and enhance gratitude. Spend 3 minutes imagining a challenge, such as losing a client or facing a setback, and plan exactly how you would respond. Identify one practical resource you would use, one person you would ask for help, and the first 3 steps you would take. This reduces catastrophic surprises and trains the mind to view problems as solvable scenarios rather than existential threats. After the exercise, end by listing 3 concrete elements you currently have that most people do not, such as time, resources, skills, or a supportive person. This turns the practice into a resilience builder and a gratitude check simultaneously. Handle failure as data, not destiny. When a plan fails, record what happened in objective terms, what was expected, what actually happened, and one adjustment to try next. Remove shame from the recording. Focus on the next smallest testable step. If the outcome was worse than expected, ask what limited the plan and what simple change will increase the odds next time. Treat life as a series of experiments. Experiments are neutral and informational. This stance protects emotion and speeds learning. Commit to daily mental hygiene that is short and repeatable. 5 minutes of quiet reflection 3 times a day, or a single 10-minute practice before sleep works. Use that time to clear tasks for tomorrow. Name one worry and assign it to a time and page in your planner and breathe. Mental hygiene keeps small anxieties from compounding. Doing this consistently prevents reactive chaos and protects space for higher-level thinking. The work of mastering thoughts is slow and relentless, and that is the point. Change is not dramatic overnight. It is the accumulation of small wins and the removal of repeated failures. Control what is yours to control: your attention, your breathing, your chosen response, and your next action. Expect setbacks and plan for them. When a day falls apart, the response is not despair, but repair. One step that repairs progress helps more than a flood of words about regret. A single focused action rebuilds momentum quicker than a long internal argument. Finish each week by answering 2 simple questions in writing. What thought patterns helped? And which ones hurt? For each harmful pattern, choose one replacement practice for the next week, and one small accountability measure, such as checking in with a friend or setting a phone reminder. Accountability turns private intention into public discipline. Over time, the list of helpful thought patterns grows, and the old ones fade. This work is not glamorous, but it is everything. Mastering thoughts produces a quieter mind, clearer choices, and a life shaped by purpose. The most important commitment you can make to yourself is to practice noticing, choosing, and acting again and again until deliberate thinking becomes the default. That steady repetition will change not only what you do each day, but who you become. Chapter 2. Build consistent habits to strengthen your personal growth journey. Building consistent habits is the engine of steady progress and the only reliable way to change what happens in your life day after day. Habits remove the need for constant willpower and create a path where action follows without debate. The goal is not perfect performance, but repeatable behavior. Choose a few practices that move the needle and embed them into ordinary parts of the day so they become automatic responses rather than decisions you have to remake all the time. Start by picking one habit that is small, clear, and measurable. Small means a single focused action that takes 2 to 20 minutes. Clear means there is no guessing about what counts. Measurable means a yes or no answer at the end of the day. If the intention is to improve fitness, then decide on a specific routine such as 10 minutes of movement or a fixed number of sets and repetitions. If the aim is better reading, then set a fixed stanza of pages or 20 minutes of reading instead of a vague promise to read more. The simplicity makes it possible to do the habit even on low-energy days, which builds consistency over time. Anchor new habits to an existing routine. This is a reliable shortcut for installing new behavior. If a routine is already stable, such as making coffee, brushing teeth, or sitting down for work, attach the new behavior directly afterwards. The brain links the new action to the familiar cue, and over repeated days, the new action becomes the default. Use a single trigger for each habit, so nothing competes for attention. If the cue is chaotic, pick a different anchor. The sequence matters more than intensity in the early days. Design a tiny version of the habit that removes the excuse of not having time. If the real goal is writing for an hour, start with writing for 5 minutes. If the aim is meditation, begin with 1 breath. Focus for 1 minute. The objective is to create a non-negotiable entry point. The brain accepts small, consistent beginnings, and those beginnings multiply. After several days, the tiny version will both feel insufficient and be easy to increase. That friction to start is the most honest test of whether a practice will last. Keep attention on systems rather than outcomes. The system is the set of daily choices and boundaries that produce results. Outcomes are the byproduct, and they take time. If the system is solid, then results become inevitable. Write down the system for a single area such as health or learning, and identify 3 daily actions that system requires. Make these actions specific and assign them to times or contexts. When the system guides behavior, the day requires fewer decisions and less emotional labor. Create visible accountability. Private goals are easy to abandon. Tell one person about the habit and ask them to check in or use a simple shared tracker. A text message or a quick call at the end of the day is enough. Public progress, even in a small circle, increases commitment. If social accountability feels risky, start with a single trusted person and build outward. The purpose is not to seek permission, but to create a minimal structure that raises the cost of quitting. Use immediate rewards to reinforce early attempts. The human brain values immediate feedback more than distant payoffs. Attach a short, pleasant consequence to completing the habit for the day, such as 5 minutes of relaxation, a favorite cup of tea, or marking a calendar with a satisfying X. This is not bribery, but practical conditioning. Over time, the intrinsic benefits of the habit will become the reward, but early external cues help bridge the gap. Track progress by recording simple daily evidence. A one-line log in a notebook or a quick entry on the phone creates an honest record. Note the date the habit was completed and any small observation about the experience. Reviewing the log weekly reveals trends that are invisible in the moment. Seeing steady entries reinforces identity and reveals real momentum. Numbers reduce anxiety because they show what actually happened rather than what was imagined. Plan for failure and create repair actions. Expect missed days and keep a short protocol for recovery. If a habit is missed, identify the reason and then choose one immediate action that restores momentum that day. Missing is not a moral failure, but a data point. A repair strategy might be a shortened practice the same evening or doubling down the next morning with an additional small task. The recovery matters more than the slip itself. Use environmental shaping to reduce friction and remove decision points. Prepare what is required the night before. If the habit is exercise, lay out the clothing and equipment where it will be seen. If the habit is reading, place the book on the pillow or next to the coffee mug. Reduce the number of choices needed to start so the only meaningful choice is to begin. The fewer preliminary decisions, the higher the chance the habit will occur. Stack habits into a daily sequence that supports energy. Place demanding tasks when natural energy is higher and lighter tasks when energy typically dips. The order in which habits appear affects sustainability. Start with a small win early in the day to generate forward motion. The sense of completion amplifies the likelihood of subsequent actions. Use a realistic assessment of personal rhythms to decide sequencing rather than following a generic prescription. Make rules that remove negotiation. Create simple boundaries such as no phone for 30 minutes after waking or no snacking after dinner. Rules are powerful because they transform preferences into non-negotiable behaviors. Keep the number of rules small and central to core habits. Over time, these rules will shape identity and reduce the daily need for willpower. Use periodic review to refine and upgrade habits. Every 2 weeks, examine what is working and what is draining energy. Ask which habit can be amplified, which one should be simplified, and which should be dropped entirely. Growth requires pruning, not accumulation. Removing a habit that no longer serves creates space for higher leverage practices. The review should be brief and fact-based and lead to one concrete change for the next period. Practice habit refinement through experimentation. Treat each habit as a hypothesis about what produces desired outcomes and design small tests to improve it. If morning exercise is inconsistent, test a shorter routine or a different time of day. If reading stalls, change the format, try an audiobook or reading strategy. Testing reduces guesswork and increases adaptability. Use vivid reminders to sustain motivation. A short, written statement, pinned where it is visible, a tactile object that represents the goal, or a recorded voice note played at a fixed time, can reawaken intention. The reminder must be simple and actionable, such as do the 5-minute routine now. Avoid long motivational content, which often becomes background noise. Cultivate patience by tracking long-term benefits, not immediate perfection. Habits accumulate their value through repetition. The sound of steady progress is quiet and unexciting, but it compounds into large outcomes. Remember that years are the unit of meaningful change, not days. Maintain the daily practice and allow the results to compound. Create habit pairings that link a desirable action with a necessary but unpleasant task. For example, listen to an informative podcast only while performing physical chores, or use focused study time only after completing a short movement warm-up. Pairing increases the probability that the unpleasant necessary task occurs and increases exposure to valuable inputs simultaneously. Protect the weekend or off day by designing a minimal maintenance version of core habits. Total stoppage creates a harder restart. Choose one shortened routine that preserves the rhythm and signals continuity. This preserves identity and reduces friction in the week that follows. Use language that frames habits as who you are becoming, rather than what you do temporarily. Phrases such as, "I am the type of person who practices daily," or "I maintain a simple writing rhythm functionally," change the lens through which choices are made. Identity phrasing aligns behavior with self-image and strengthens resolve when temptation arises. Teach the body to expect the practice through timing and sensory cues. Repeating the same start sequence, such as a particular song, a short breathing pattern, or a deliberate stretch, primes physiological readiness. The predictable sequence helps the nervous system prepare, which makes initiation smoother. Finally, accept that consistency is imperfect and persistent effort is relentless. Progress does not require drama, only steady completion. Choose a handful of habits that represent the highest value and protect them fiercely. Do the work daily, adapt when necessary, and repair when needed. Over months and years, the cumulative effect will be unmistakable, and the quiet persistence of habit will become the architecture of a stronger, more capable life.
Chapter 3. Develop resilience to overcome challenges and stay focused daily.
Developing resilience is the cornerstone of enduring challenges and maintaining focus even when circumstances seem impossible. Life will test persistence and strength repeatedly, and those who succeed are not immune to difficulty. They have cultivated the capacity to rise again and continue. Resilience is learned through deliberate practice, structured reflection, and disciplined action. It is the ability to stay grounded in purpose, control reactions, and convert obstacles into growth opportunities. Building resilience begins with observing how you respond to stress and intentionally shifting toward constructive action. Recognizing emotional triggers is the first step in cultivating resilience. Every stressful situation contains identifiable patterns that provoke anxiety, anger, or avoidance. Take note of these triggers as objectively as possible, without judgment. For example, receiving critical feedback may provoke defensiveness or self-doubt. Acknowledging the emotional response without letting it dictate behavior creates a separation between stimulus and action. This mental space allows a considered choice rather than a reaction driven by emotion. Consistently practicing this separation strengthens the neural pathways associated with self-control and focused response. Physical readiness reinforces mental resilience. The body and mind are tightly linked, and stress tolerance improves when energy levels, nutrition, and rest are managed carefully. Simple measures like maintaining hydration, incorporating daily movement, and prioritizing restorative sleep create a foundation upon which mental toughness grows. Fatigue magnifies perceived obstacles, and the resilient person systematically minimizes preventable weaknesses in physical readiness. A short morning walk, controlled breathing exercises, or a brief strength routine are not only physical improvements, they signal commitment and capability to the brain. Controlled exposure to discomfort is essential for growth. Resilience is not developed in comfort. It is forged when the mind encounters manageable adversity and successfully navigates it. Purposefully taking on small challenges, cold showers, physical exertion, timed problem-solving exercises, teaches the mind to tolerate temporary discomfort without avoidance. Each completed challenge accumulates confidence, demonstrating internally that hardship is not permanent or overwhelming. By regularly practicing controlled exposure, the mind becomes accustomed to facing the unexpected without panic or paralysis. Perspective management is a crucial tool. Resilient individuals maintain awareness of what they can influence and what lies beyond control. Excessive focus on uncontrollable variables drains energy and reduces clarity. Create a mental checklist for situations. What elements can be acted on today, which require preparation, and which must be accepted? Focusing on actionable items produces measurable progress, while acceptance of uncontrollable factors reduces frustration. Regularly practicing this mental separation strengthens adaptability and prevents the depletion of emotional energy. Goal clarity fuels persistence. When objectives are clearly defined, challenges are easier to navigate because setbacks are evaluated in context. Break long-term goals into micro-tasks and small milestones that can be accomplished despite adversity. Each milestone achieved reinforces competence and builds a sense of momentum. Documenting progress visually or numerically strengthens commitment and provides reassurance during difficult periods. Seeing consistent small victories maintains focus when external conditions are unfavorable. Controlled self-talk reinforces resilience. The internal dialogue during stress either strengthens determination or accelerates defeat. Replace automatic self-criticism with factual, solution-oriented statements. For example, instead of thinking "I cannot handle this," shift to "I will take one step forward and reassess." Verbalizing or silently repeating constructive statements during adversity reduces the cognitive load of negative spirals and fosters a proactive mindset. Over time, disciplined self-talk becomes an instinctive resource when challenges emerge unexpectedly. Problem-solving drills enhance confidence under pressure. Regularly practice identifying challenges, brainstorming solutions, and selecting the most effective option. Start with small scenarios and progress to complex decisions. Document the process and review outcomes to refine thinking patterns. These mental exercises condition the mind to respond quickly and methodically to real-world challenges. When the stakes rise, the practiced strategies are easier to deploy because the mind is already familiar with structured problem-solving under pressure. Emotional regulation exercises fortify resilience. Daily practices such as timed meditation, deep diaphragmatic breathing, or focused visualization stabilize responses in stressful moments. These exercises slow physiological arousal, enabling rational thought rather than impulsive reaction. Visualization of overcoming potential obstacles prepares both mind and body to react confidently when real events occur. Repeated practice creates an automatic calming response, strengthening the ability to face adversity without disruption. Social support reinforces endurance. While resilience is an internal skill, strategic external connections amplify strength. Surround yourself with individuals who provide honest feedback, constructive challenge, and encouragement. Seek mentors who exemplify calm decisiveness under pressure and observe their approaches. Social networks can provide perspective, reduce isolation, and offer practical guidance during crises. Interactions with supportive peers build confidence in one's ability to persist, even when immediate results are absent. Daily reflection solidifies lessons from hardship. Every evening, review the day's difficulties and your response to them. Record what went well, what could improve, and one specific adjustment for tomorrow. Writing thoughts reinforces clarity, and reviewing actions enhances self-awareness. This practice strengthens neural pathways that associate difficulty with learning rather than defeat. Over weeks, reflection transforms challenges into a structured growth pathway and reduces the emotional intensity of repeated stresses. Controlled exposure to delayed gratification develops mental endurance. Commit to small but meaningful sacrifices daily that align with long-term goals, whether saving money, completing focused work sessions, or maintaining dietary discipline. These choices reinforce the ability to resist impulses and remain consistent. Success in delayed gratification tasks translates into improved patience and focus when confronted with larger challenges. The cumulative effect is a mind capable of weighing outcomes objectively rather than reacting to temporary discomfort. Adaptability training is another pillar of resilience. Deliberately introduce variability in routines to prevent overdependence on comfort and predictability. Adjust work sequences, change exercise timing, or rotate skill practices to condition flexibility. Unexpected changes in life and work are inevitable, and early practice in adapting to minor alterations builds readiness for larger disruptions. Each successful adaptation strengthens confidence in the ability to handle unplanned events without losing direction or motivation. Tracking resilience growth over time demonstrates progress and reinforces commitment. Maintain a log of challenges faced, actions taken, and lessons learned. Include reflections on emotional response and practical adjustments. Reviewing this record provides tangible evidence of improvement and offers reassurance during future obstacles. Objective documentation removes doubt, transforms perception of difficulty, and supports continued development of mental toughness. Visualization of worst-case scenarios reduces shock and fear. Consider potential failures and map out immediate actions and contingency strategies. Anticipating outcomes prepares the mind to react strategically rather than reactively. Coupled with focused breathing and controlled pacing, visualization fosters readiness and reduces emotional volatility when confronting real challenges. The technique transforms fear into preparedness and strengthens confidence in navigating unpredictability. Physical challenges complement mental resilience. Regularly testing limits through exercise, endurance activities, or skill-based tasks reinforces the mind-body connection. Successful completion of physical trials demonstrates personal capacity, improves confidence, and enhances tolerance for stress. Combining mental exercises with physical challenges produces a holistic resilience strategy, ensuring both body and mind are prepared for adversity. Perspective shifts reinforce meaning under pressure. Rather than viewing challenges as obstacles, treat them as data points, feedback, or opportunities for skill building. Reframing adversity reduces emotional weight and promotes constructive action. Every setback carries information. Interpreting it without judgment strengthens adaptive thinking and deepens understanding of one's strengths and weaknesses. Resilience thrives on incremental exposure, repeated practice, and disciplined evaluation. Strength is built quietly through daily choices, deliberate actions, and sustained commitment to improvement. Patience is essential. Results accumulate slowly but compound significantly over time. Each intentional response to difficulty, each maintained focus during disruption, and each adjustment based on reflection shapes a mind capable of sustained endurance. Ultimately, resilience is not about avoiding challenges, but mastering the ability to navigate them with clarity and persistence. It is the ongoing practice of observing responses, choosing deliberate action, and refining strategies continuously. This capacity transforms obstacles into growth opportunities, uncertainty into manageable scenarios, and daily challenges into steps toward a stronger, more focused and capable self. Through consistent cultivation, resilience becomes the foundation upon which focus, achievement, and personal evolution are built. Chapter 4. Set clear goals to create direction and purposeful progress. Setting clear goals is the foundation for purposeful progress and ensures that every action taken aligns with a larger vision. Without clarity, energy dissipates on trivial matters, and time passes with minimal accomplishment. Goals provide a roadmap that allows focus, efficiency, and measurable growth. They are not abstract wishes, but concrete commitments that can be acted upon daily. Clarity comes from defining what success looks like in each area of life and breaking it down into manageable steps. Start by identifying the areas that matter most: health, relationships, learning, career, and personal growth. For each area, write down a single outcome you want to achieve within a specific time frame. Specificity matters more than size. A goal like improving physical endurance by being able to run 3 miles in 2 months is far more actionable than a vague desire to get fitter. Clearly defined goals reduce indecision and create an internal contract that your mind recognizes as serious. Once the outcomes are identified, break each one into smaller milestones. Micro goals act as checkpoints that allow progress to be tracked and maintained. Large objectives are intimidating without intermediate steps. If the aim is to build a professional skill, identify weekly learning targets, exercises, or applied projects. These milestones create structure and allow the brain to perceive progress continuously. Small wins reinforce commitment and build confidence incrementally. Create a visual representation of your goals. Writing them down on paper, a whiteboard, or a digital tracker makes them tangible. The act of seeing goals frequently keeps them top of mind and reduces the likelihood of procrastination. Visual cues act as constant reminders, prompting intentional action even when motivation fluctuates. Place reminders in locations you interact with daily to ensure constant exposure. Prioritize goals by importance and impact. Not every goal carries equal weight. Identify the outcomes that will produce the most significant change in your life and place them at the top of your focus list. Treat lower priority goals as secondary tasks that are addressed once critical objectives receive consistent attention. This hierarchy prevents scattered effort and ensures that energy is applied where it matters most. Translate goals into actionable daily practices. Each day should have at least one action directly contributing to your objectives. The consistency of small steps compounds into significant progress over time. Instead of vague intentions, design tasks that can be completed in defined blocks of time. If the goal is to improve knowledge in a specific area, dedicate 30 minutes of uninterrupted study each day. Daily repetition establishes momentum and solidifies the connection between effort and progress. Accountability strengthens commitment to goals. Share objectives with a trusted person or maintain a journal documenting efforts. Recording results and reflecting on actions helps maintain integrity with oneself. Reviewing progress weekly ensures that alignment with objectives is continuously evaluated. When accountability structures are present, it becomes easier to maintain discipline even in challenging circumstances. Anticipate obstacles and create contingency plans. Challenges will arise, and unexpected events can disrupt routines. Proactively consider potential setbacks and define responses for each scenario. Planning increases confidence, reduces panic, and allows continued progress despite interruptions. For example, if illness prevents physical training, have a short indoor alternative ready. The mind trained in preparation responds faster and more effectively than one constantly reacting to emergencies. Establish measurable criteria to evaluate progress. Goals are meaningful only if advancement can be quantified. Define metrics that provide objective insight into performance. These metrics allow adjustment and refinement of strategies over time. For instance, if the objective is to write a book, track word count, chapters completed, or research completed per week. Measurable progress reduces ambiguity and provides motivation when visible improvement is noted. Incorporate flexibility without compromising purpose. Life is dynamic, and rigid adherence to goals without adaptability leads to frustration. Allow methods and timelines to evolve while maintaining the integrity of the outcome. Adjustments should be deliberate, not reactive. Flexibility ensures continuous forward motion and prevents stagnation or abandonment due to unforeseen circumstances. Use reflection to maintain clarity and alignment. At the end of each week, review completed actions, evaluate obstacles, and assess whether progress aligns with the desired outcome. Ask what worked, what could improve, and what needs adjustment. Reflection strengthens insight into patterns, energy management, and strategy effectiveness. This practice prevents wasted effort and ensures that actions remain purposeful. Connect goals to intrinsic motivation. Understand why each objective matters personally rather than externally. Motivation tied to personal values creates resilience against distraction and adversity. Knowing the deeper purpose behind an effort increases commitment and fuels sustained energy. When progress slows, reconnecting with the underlying reason restores focus and determination. Break complex goals into phases. Long-term objectives are often overwhelming without structure. Divide the path into logical stages where each builds upon the previous phases, provide psychological satisfaction as milestones are reached, and prevent fatigue from attempting to manage the entire journey at once. Celebrate completion of each phase to reinforce the pattern of consistent effort leading to achievement. Pair goal setting with time management. Allocate specific periods to work exclusively on high-priority actions. Protect these time blocks as non-negotiable to ensure meaningful work is completed consistently. Reducing multitasking and distractions enhances focus and produces better results. Consistent time investment in goal-related activities is a critical factor in accelerated progress. Employ mental rehearsal to strengthen commitment. Visualize achieving the goal and executing necessary actions with precision. Mental practice primes the brain for execution, reinforces belief in ability, and reduces anxiety about obstacles. Repeated visualization strengthens confidence and provides clarity on practical steps required to reach each milestone. Review and refine strategies regularly. Goals are dynamic, and methods may require adjustment as circumstances evolve. Weekly or monthly evaluations allow for recalibration and ensure that actions remain efficient and relevant. Remove tasks that produce minimal results and amplify those that generate tangible progress. Optimization keeps efforts aligned with outcomes and prevents wasted energy. Maintain discipline even when motivation falters. Progress is not dependent on feelings, but on consistent action. Motivation fluctuates, and reliance on emotion alone is unreliable. Building a routine where action occurs regardless of mood solidifies habits, reinforces progress, and builds self-trust. Discipline becomes a more reliable engine for achievement than transient inspiration. Focus on one goal at a time when possible. Dividing attention across multiple high-priority objectives reduces efficiency and dilutes energy. Complete a meaningful portion of a single objective before transitioning to another to maximize impact. Sequential focus produces momentum and demonstrates the value of concentrated effort. Integrate small rewards for milestone completion. Celebrating achievements reinforces behavior and creates positive associations with consistent action. Rewards should be proportional, immediate, and meaningful, but not counterproductive to progress. Recognition of effort strengthens motivation and sustains engagement over the long term. Adopt a learning mindset in pursuit of goals. Treat setbacks, delays, or mistakes as information rather than failure. Evaluate outcomes, extract lessons, and incorporate adjustments into future actions. A continuous learning approach transforms challenges into practical insights that accelerate progress. Growth occurs when experience is leveraged, not resisted. Link daily routines to long-term vision. Ensure that small habitual actions are aligned with broader goals. Daily alignment prevents drift, creates measurable advancement, and reinforces the connection between present effort and future results. Habitual consistency transforms abstract goals into achievable reality over time. Persist through adversity by focusing on controllable actions. External circumstances will rarely be perfect, and progress requires navigating imperfections without abandoning direction. Concentrate energy on decisions and actions that produce measurable effect. This approach reduces overwhelm and maintains forward momentum despite environmental challenges. Document the journey comprehensively. Journals, trackers, or logs provide historical insight, reinforce accountability, and clarify patterns. Reviewing the documentation periodically strengthens strategic thinking and highlights areas requiring attention. Tangible evidence of effort and progress reinforces motivation and commitment to long-term objectives. Recognize that goal clarity and intentional action are lifelong skills. Setting specific, actionable goals, evaluating progress consistently, and refining approaches forms the backbone of sustained personal and professional growth. Mastery of goal setting cultivates focus, reduces wasted effort, and transforms aspirations into measurable results. The disciplined practice of defining, acting, and reviewing creates momentum that compounds daily into meaningful, lasting achievements. Chapter 5. Strengthen self-discipline to achieve results without relying on motivation. Strengthening self-discipline is the key to achieving results consistently regardless of fleeting motivation or temporary enthusiasm. Motivation is unpredictable. It rises and falls with circumstances, emotions, and external stimuli. Relying on it alone creates an unstable foundation. Discipline, on the other hand, is a skill, a habit, and a daily choice that operates independently of mood or desire. It allows action to continue even when energy is low, when obstacles appear, or when the initial excitement of a goal has faded. Developing self-discipline begins with understanding the power of repeated intentional behavior over time, and the necessity of creating structures that make consistent action inevitable. Start by clearly identifying the behaviors that produce meaningful outcomes in your life. Not all tasks carry equal weight, and discipline should be applied to actions that directly contribute to measurable progress. Make a list of core practices in health, work, learning, and personal growth that, if done consistently, will move you closer to your objectives. Define these tasks with precision so there is no ambiguity about what counts as completion. Clarity reduces procrastination because the mind knows exactly what needs to be executed without debate. Create fixed routines around these essential actions. Self-discipline thrives in structure because it reduces reliance on fluctuating willpower. Embed high-value behaviors into daily schedules so they become non-negotiable components of the day. Morning routines, work sprints, reading blocks, and exercise periods are more effective when they are habitual and scheduled at consistent times. The brain recognizes repetition and forms automatic neural pathways that reduce mental resistance over time. The more consistent the routine, the less mental effort is required to initiate action. Start small to avoid burnout and ensure sustainability. Discipline is built gradually through repeated success. Attempting too much at once invites failure and discouragement. Identify a single high-priority habit and focus all energy on maintaining it consistently for a defined period. Once mastery is achieved, layer additional habits on top of the established foundation. Small incremental growth reinforces confidence and ensures that discipline becomes an integral part of identity rather than a temporary effort. Implement a clear system of accountability. Internal promises are often broken without consequence. External accountability reinforces commitment and maintains standards. Share your goals with a trusted person or use digital tools to track adherence. Weekly check-ins, progress logs, or visual trackers create an objective record of effort and outcomes. Accountability transforms private intentions into actionable responsibility, strengthening the mental framework that supports consistent behavior. Manage temptations proactively. Discipline is strengthened not by avoiding challenges, but by creating environments that reduce friction and exposure to distractions. Remove or minimize triggers that pull attention away from essential tasks. If digital devices interfere with focus, schedule specific windows for their use or employ blocking applications. Organize physical spaces to facilitate productive behavior, keeping essential tools and materials within reach and removing non-essential items that encourage procrastination. Small adjustments in the environment compound over time to reduce resistance and reinforce consistency. Focus on process over emotion. Motivation is emotional and unreliable, whereas process-driven action is stable. Decide in advance what steps will be taken regardless of how you feel in the moment. Commit to executing actions even when resistance arises. The discipline to act independently of emotional fluctuation creates predictable progress. Over time, process-driven action produces results that in turn reinforce the habit of disciplined behavior. Use immediate action to counter inertia. Delaying tasks, even small ones, increases mental friction and decreases follow-through. When faced with a necessary action, start immediately for even a brief period. This first step generates momentum and reduces resistance. The brain responds positively to movement, and once action is initiated, it becomes easier to continue. Immediate initiation trains the mind to rely on consistent response, rather than waiting for an ideal state of motivation. Establish measurable benchmarks for self-discipline. Track how often core habits are completed, how quickly tasks are initiated, and the quality of execution. Use quantifiable metrics to objectively assess progress. Recording results provides clarity and strengthens commitment by offering tangible proof of consistency. Seeing streaks of successful execution reinforces identity as someone capable of disciplined action and motivates continuation even when energy is low. Prepare for setbacks and develop repair strategies. Discipline is not perfection. Lapses will occur. The critical difference lies in how setbacks are handled. Establish a plan to correct missed actions immediately without allowing guilt or frustration to dominate. Short corrective practices, adjusted schedules, or next-day prioritization ensures that momentum is restored quickly. Repair mechanisms prevent temporary failures from cascading into long-term stagnation. Practice mental rehearsal to reinforce discipline. Visualize completing tasks even under adverse conditions or low energy. Mentally running through potential obstacles and rehearsing effective responses strengthens resolve and reduces hesitation. Visualization primes the brain to execute under pressure and builds confidence in the ability to act independently of external factors. When the actual moment arrives, prior rehearsal facilitates immediate and effective action. Leverage incremental rewards. Strategically, immediate gratification can be aligned with disciplined behavior to reinforce repetition early in the process. Small rewards such as a brief break, a personal acknowledgement, or tracking progress with a satisfying marker provide feedback that encourages continuation. Over time, the intrinsic benefits of the habit, improved health, knowledge or skill become the primary reward, but initial reinforcement ensures the habit becomes established. Strengthen self-discipline by developing patience and long-term perspective. Many individuals abandon structured practices when results are not immediately visible. Discipline requires understanding that meaningful outcomes compound gradually. Daily adherence to habits, focused effort and consistent routines accumulate into significant transformation over weeks and months. Patience allows sustained execution, which is the true vehicle for achieving substantial results. Train decision-making to support discipline. Each day contains numerous choices that can either reinforce or erode progress. Simplify decisions regarding core tasks to remove unnecessary mental load. Determine in advance what actions are mandatory and commit to following through. Reducing discretionary decisions regarding essential actions prevents fatigue, strengthens adherence, and reinforces the mental circuits that produce consistent behavior. Pair accountability with reflection. After executing daily tasks, reflect on what was completed, what obstacles were encountered, and how behavior can improve. Reflection provides insight, allows course correction, and strengthens the ability to anticipate challenges. Combining reflection with accountability ensures continuous refinement of habits and reinforces identity as someone committed to consistent performance. Incorporate mental and physical conditioning together. The capacity for self-discipline is enhanced when the body and mind operate in a stable state. Adequate sleep, balanced nutrition, and regular physical activity increase energy, concentration, and stress tolerance. Physical conditioning also reinforces a sense of accomplishment, demonstrating that effort produces results. When the body supports mental clarity, the likelihood of disciplined execution rises substantially. Use visualization of identity to reinforce discipline. Imagine the person you aim to become, someone who acts reliably, completes essential tasks, and pursues goals without reliance on external stimuli. Anchor daily actions to this identity, framing behavior as an expression of who you are becoming. When resistance arises, identity-driven action motivates continuation because it aligns behavior with self-perception rather than temporary desire. Establish time-bound commitments for habitual practices. Deadlines create urgency and prevent indefinite postponement. Assign specific time windows to essential tasks and protect these periods from interruptions. Structured timing reduces procrastination and enforces consistent execution. Over time, these committed intervals transform into habitual rhythm that no longer requires conscious enforcement. Maintain consistency through progressive challenges. Gradually increase the complexity or intensity of tasks as competence grows. Small incremental increases reinforce adaptability and maintain engagement without overwhelming capacity. Scaling challenges ensures the practice of self-discipline remains active, effective, and aligned with growth objectives. Ultimately, self-discipline is the foundation for sustained achievement. Results are not a product of temporary motivation, but of continuous, intentional, and structured effort. By building routines, Managing environment, rehearsing action, and committing to process over emotion, the individual achieves a level of consistency that transcends fleeting enthusiasm. Persistent discipline shapes behavior, strengthens character, and produces results that are predictable, reliable, and enduring. Chapter 6. Embrace failure to learn faster and grow stronger consistently. Failure is not a dead end, but a vital step in the journey toward mastery and growth. Every person who achieves remarkable success has faced setbacks, mistakes, and disappointments, and the difference lies in how they respond to those experiences. Embracing failure transforms it from a source of fear into a tool for accelerated learning and continuous improvement. The mind that sees errors as opportunities rather than threats becomes stronger, more adaptable, and far more capable of navigating complex challenges. The first step in embracing failure is changing perception. Society often labels failure as shameful or indicative of inadequacy, but in reality, failure is simply evidence of effort. Without attempting something beyond the comfort zone, no meaningful progress is possible. Recognizing that mistakes are a natural part of any ambitious endeavor removes the stigma and allows the mind to remain open to learning. Reframing failure as feedback shifts focus from ego to growth, encouraging experimentation and action without paralysis. Analyzing failure objectively is essential. When a mistake occurs, separate emotion from fact. Identify the specific action or decision that produced the undesired outcome and distinguish it from personal identity. For example, if a project does not succeed, note which steps caused the setback and what can be adjusted, rather than internalizing the result as a personal flaw. This clarity produces actionable insight rather than self-punishment and allows lessons to be applied in the future. Record experiences systematically. Maintain a journal or log where each failure is documented alongside observations, contributing factors, and potential solutions. Writing reinforces learning and creates a reference for patterns that may recur. Reviewing this record over time highlights progress, reduces repetition of errors, and strengthens problem-solving skills. Objective documentation transforms failures into a structured framework for improvement rather than random disappointments. Experimentation accelerates learning from mistakes. Treat each failure as a hypothesis test. Identify what was attempted, predict the likely outcomes, and analyze deviations from expectation. Iterative testing allows adjustment of strategy based on real-world feedback. Each attempt, successful or not, provides data that informs better decision-making, enhancing skill development and adaptability. Viewing failure as experimental data removes fear and encourages calculated risk-taking. Adopt emotional resilience during setbacks. Failure triggers discomfort, frustration, or self-doubt, but managing emotional response is critical for rapid learning. Pause to acknowledge feelings without letting them dictate subsequent actions. Techniques such as deep breathing, focused reflection, or short physical activity can reset the mind. When emotional balance is restored, the ability to analyze errors objectively and plan corrective action increases significantly. Seek feedback actively. External perspectives often reveal blind spots that personal analysis may miss. Mentors, peers, or experts can provide insights into what went wrong and suggest practical adjustments. Embrace constructive criticism as a resource rather than a judgment. Integrating external feedback with personal reflection enhances the quality of learning and accelerates growth by combining multiple viewpoints into actionable strategies. Build a mindset that prioritizes progress over perfection. Perfectionism paralyzes action and amplifies fear of failure. Instead, focus on incremental improvement and the accumulation of knowledge through repeated attempts. Understand that mastery requires repeated cycles of trial, error, adjustment, and execution. The individual who values progress over flawless performance is more likely to take consistent action and ultimately achieve higher levels of competence. Develop contingency strategies in advance. Anticipate possible obstacles and create backup plans to reduce the impact of failure. Preparing alternative approaches provides confidence and prevents discouragement when the primary plan encounters obstacles. A strategic mindset transforms potential setbacks into manageable challenges, allowing for swift adaptation and continuous forward motion. Embrace public failure when appropriate. Sharing struggles transparently can foster accountability and reduce fear. Communicating lessons learned to peers or mentors not only strengthens social support, but also reinforces understanding of the experience. Discussing setbacks openly reframes failure as a learning process and removes isolation, enabling collaboration and insight that might not arise from solitary reflection. Focus on actionable lessons rather than dwelling on negative. Identify what specific steps can be implemented to prevent recurrence of the same mistake. Transforming failure into a concrete action plan ensures that every setback produces measurable progress. Each corrective action strengthens skills, improves judgment, and increases the likelihood of success in subsequent efforts. Avoid excessive rumination, which impedes momentum and distorts perception of ability. Practice resilience through repetition of challenging tasks. The more frequently one encounters controlled failure, the more adept the mind becomes at recovery and adaptation. Purposefully engage in tasks that stretch capacity and involve risk of error. Each encounter provides data, reinforces coping mechanisms, and increases tolerance for uncertainty. Consistent exposure to manageable setbacks trains the mind to navigate larger and more complex challenges over time. Maintain perspective on long-term growth. Individual failures are small data points in the broader trajectory of personal development. Avoid assigning excessive weight to single setbacks. Each experience contributes cumulatively to skill acquisition, wisdom, and confidence. Understanding that growth is a slow, continuous process allows temporary failures to be viewed as essential steps rather than permanent indicators of inadequacy. Use failure to cultivate humility and self-awareness. Experiencing mistakes highlights limitations and areas for improvement. Accepting imperfection fosters open-mindedness and curiosity, which are essential for learning. Self-awareness gained through failure informs decision-making and enhances strategic thinking. Humility reduces defensiveness, enabling more honest evaluation of actions and more effective corrective measures. Leverage failure as motivation for future action. Rather than retreating, channel the energy of disappointment into focused effort and strategic adaptation. Use the experience as a benchmark for improvement and a reminder of the importance of preparation, persistence, and attention to detail. The emotional intensity of failure can become a driving force when redirected toward deliberate practice and refinement of approach. Celebrate insights gained from failure. Acknowledge the value of the lesson and record it as a step forward in personal development. Recognizing the benefit derived from mistakes reinforces a positive association with challenge and encourages continued engagement with difficult tasks. Framing errors as opportunities fosters resilience, curiosity, and determination. Balance risk-taking with calculated assessment. Embracing failure does not mean recklessness. Evaluate potential outcomes. Identify controllable factors and plan mitigations. Taking measured risks expands capacity, builds confidence, and produces meaningful learning experiences. Repeated exposure to calculated uncertainty strengthens adaptability and reinforces the mindset necessary for consistent progress. Encourage reflection immediately after an error. Delayed analysis often loses clarity and misses subtle cues. Immediate reflection captures details of decisions, context, and emotional response while the experience is fresh. Prompt evaluation produces actionable insight and accelerates improvement cycles. Over time, rapid reflection becomes a habitual skill that enhances learning efficiency and problem-solving ability. Integrate failure into long-term planning. Recognize that setbacks will occur and structure goals, timelines, and strategies with buffer and flexibility. Planning for the inevitability of mistakes reduces stress, prevents discouragement, and ensures continuity of effort. A resilient system anticipates error and incorporates mechanisms for rapid correction. Develop the courage to start again without hesitation. Failure often creates a mental barrier, but the ability to restart decisively is central to growth. Immediate recommitment prevents loss of momentum and reinforces confidence in capability. Each restart strengthens the association between effort and achievement, diminishing fear of repetition. Finally, embrace failure as an indispensable teacher. Every mistake contains lessons, every setback offers insight, and every disappointment is an opportunity to improve. Learning from errors accelerates skill acquisition, deepens understanding, and strengthens character. Consistently facing challenges, analyzing outcomes, and adjusting behavior transforms setbacks into stepping stones. The individual who embraces failure develops speed in learning, fortitude in adversity, and a resilience that allows growth to continue steadily and reliably, turning every obstacle into an instrument of strength and every misstep into a foundation for mastery. Chapter 7. Expand knowledge daily to improve decisions and life outcomes. Expanding knowledge daily is a transformative practice that strengthens decision-making, enhances perspective, and produces tangible improvements in life outcomes. Every choice we make, from the smallest daily decisions to the largest long-term plans, is influenced by the information, skills, and insights we carry. Without deliberate learning, decisions are guided by habit, assumption, or incomplete understanding, often producing suboptimal results. By intentionally dedicating time to acquire knowledge, analyze ideas, and refine understanding, a person builds a foundation for better judgment, clarity, and consistent growth in all areas of life. Knowledge accumulation is not limited to formal education. It is a deliberate daily commitment to improvement that compounds over time. Begin by identifying the domains that most impact your personal and professional life. Focus on areas where skill gaps or limited understanding restrict progress. For some, this might include finance, communication, health, or emotional intelligence. For others, it may involve industry-specific skills, technology, or strategic thinking. Selecting meaningful focus areas ensures that effort produces measurable results rather than dispersed and ineffective learning. Targeted knowledge expansion accelerates both competence and confidence in decision-making. Develop a structured approach to daily learning. Small, consistent increments of effort produce far more significant results over time than sporadic, intense bursts. Dedicate specific periods each day for reading, practice, or exploration of new ideas. Consistency reinforces the habit, allowing the brain to integrate new concepts steadily and without overwhelm. Even 15 to 30 minutes of focused learning each day accumulates into substantial expertise when maintained over months and years. Engage multiple sources of information to deepen understanding. Relying on a single perspective limits growth and creates blind spots. Seek books, podcasts, lectures, credible articles, and conversations with experts. Compare differing viewpoints to evaluate validity, extract practical insights, and challenge assumptions. The ability to synthesize diverse input strengthens reasoning and creates a more adaptable mindset capable of addressing complex problems effectively. Apply knowledge immediately to reinforce retention and practical value. Learning without action is incomplete. As soon as a new principle or skill is acquired, integrate it into daily tasks or decision-making processes. For example, after studying a productivity technique, implement it during work sessions to assess effectiveness. Immediate application transforms abstract understanding into concrete competence and produces measurable results. Develop critical thinking skills alongside knowledge acquisition. Information is abundant, but discernment determines its usefulness. Question assumptions, evaluate evidence, and anticipate consequences. Consider both short-term and long-term implications of applying new information. The disciplined ability to filter relevant knowledge from noise ensures that learning produces actionable improvement rather than wasted effort. Leverage reflection to internalize lessons. Each day, review what was learned, how it influenced decisions, and what insights can be applied moving forward. Reflection consolidates memory, clarifies understanding, and identifies gaps that require further exploration. This practice ensures that knowledge is not passively accumulated, but actively transformed into wisdom that guides choices effectively. Incorporate problem-solving exercises to integrate knowledge. Actively using new skills to address challenges, analyze scenarios, or develop strategies strengthens comprehension and builds confidence. Real-world application transforms learning into actionable capability. Challenges should be scaled progressively to match current skill levels, while stretching capacity to ensure continuous growth. Each problem solved reinforces understanding and highlights areas needing refinement. Cultivate curiosity as a daily practice. Approach each day with a mindset of exploration, questioning, and openness. Observe patterns in daily life, ask why systems function as they do, and investigate new methods or perspectives. Curiosity drives engagement, motivates consistent learning, and uncovers opportunities for growth that may otherwise be overlooked. A curious mind naturally seeks improvement, creating an ongoing cycle of knowledge expansion and practical application. Integrate learning into routine tasks. Transform ordinary activities into opportunities for growth by incorporating observation, analysis, and reflection. Listen to educational podcasts during commutes, read articles during breaks, or experiment with skills during leisure time. This integration maximizes productivity and ensures that knowledge accumulation remains consistent even amid busy schedules. Use teaching and communication to reinforce mastery. Explaining ideas to others consolidates understanding and highlights areas requiring clarification. Mentoring, discussion groups, or even journaling about what has been learned strengthens retention and improves the ability to apply knowledge under pressure. Teaching transforms passive information into active, usable expertise. Balance depth and breadth in knowledge acquisition. Deep specialization in specific areas produces expertise, while broad understanding enhances adaptability and the ability to make connections across domains. Allocate time to explore both dimensions, ensuring both competent mastery in key areas and versatile comprehension in complementary subjects. This balance equips the mind to make informed, strategic decisions across a wide range of scenarios. Track progress to maintain momentum and focus. Keep a log of books read, skills practiced, ideas explored, and insights applied. Documenting growth reinforces achievement, provides clarity on areas requiring additional attention, and motivates continued effort. Tangible records of learning ensure that progress is recognized and celebrated, reinforcing the habit of consistent knowledge expansion. Challenge assumptions regularly. New knowledge is most valuable when it disrupts outdated beliefs, incorrect assumptions, or habitual thinking patterns. Evaluate whether previously held notions align with current evidence and adjust understanding accordingly. This practice strengthens critical analysis, promotes adaptability, and reduces the likelihood of making decisions based on incomplete or flawed information. Incorporate interdisciplinary learning. Exposure to unrelated fields or diverse concepts can generate innovative solutions and enhance problem-solving capabilities. Drawing parallels between different domains strengthens creativity and strategic thinking, allowing decisions to be informed by a wider spectrum of insight. Interdisciplinary knowledge improves flexibility and produces a richer, more adaptable mind. Develop resilience to learning setbacks. Not all information will be immediately comprehensible or directly applicable. Persisting through challenging material or unfamiliar concepts strengthens perseverance, deepens understanding, and enhances cognitive endurance. Viewing difficulty as part of the learning process ensures that effort continues despite temporary confusion or frustration. Leverage technology to optimize learning efficiency. Digital tools, online courses, research databases, and interactive platforms provide access to vast resources. Curate and structure these tools to suit personal learning objectives, avoiding distraction while maximizing exposure to valuable information. Efficient use of technology ensures that daily effort produces the highest possible return in knowledge and skill development. Regularly review and consolidate knowledge. Revisiting prior learning strengthens memory retention and allows for integration with new insights. Summarizing, mapping, or creating mental models from previously acquired information reinforces understanding and improves the ability to apply knowledge in practical contexts. Consolidation ensures that learning evolves into actionable wisdom rather than fragmented facts. Set specific, outcome-driven learning goals. Daily knowledge expansion should be purposeful and connected to broader life objectives. Whether improving professional competency, enhancing health, or developing personal skills, clearly defined learning outcomes ensure that effort translates into tangible benefits. Aligning learning with life goals produces measurable improvements and accelerates growth. Engage in discussion and debate to refine perspective. Exposing ideas to challenge and critique strengthens reasoning, highlights weaknesses in logic, and reinforces understanding. Constructive discourse with peers, mentors, or colleagues stimulates mental agility, broadens perspective, and encourages continuous refinement of thought processes. Active engagement ensures knowledge is dynamic and practical rather than static and theoretical. Develop self-directed learning habits. Take ownership of growth by identifying learning opportunities, creating structured schedules, and evaluating outcomes independently. Self-directed learning promotes discipline, curiosity, and responsibility, creating a foundation for lifelong intellectual development and enhanced decision-making capacity. Autonomy in learning ensures consistent progress without reliance on external prompts. Ultimately, daily knowledge expansion equips the individual to navigate life with greater clarity, make decisions grounded in understanding, and seize opportunities that others may overlook. Consistent application of learning produces cumulative advantage, strengthens critical thinking, and enhances adaptability. The mind that grows each day becomes a powerful instrument for improvement, capable of transforming information into wisdom, decisions into results, and challenges into opportunities for meaningful advancement. Chapter 8. Practice gratitude to increase positivity and mental clarity constantly. Practicing gratitude consistently is one of the most powerful ways to cultivate positivity, enhance mental clarity, and improve overall life satisfaction. Gratitude shifts focus from what is lacking to what is present, creating a perspective rooted in abundance rather than scarcity. The mind that regularly engages in grateful reflection develops resilience, reduces stress, and improves emotional regulation. By acknowledging even small positive aspects of daily life, the brain trains itself to recognize opportunities, strengths, and progress that often go unnoticed. Gratitude is not passive, it is an active practice that strengthens the connection between perception, emotion, and action, creating a stable foundation for personal growth. Begin by establishing a daily habit of noting what you are thankful for. This can be done in a journal, a digital document, or even mentally during quiet reflection. Commit to identifying at least 3 specific things each day. They can range from personal achievements, relationships, or moments of beauty to the simplest comforts like a warm meal or a clear sky. The key is specificity. General statements like "I am thankful for life" are less effective than concrete examples because the mind can grasp and internalize them more fully. Reflect on why these positive elements exist and the effort or circumstances that contributed to them. Understanding the sources of gratitude reinforces the connection between effort, cause, and result. For instance, recognizing that a productive day occurred because of consistent planning strengthens both appreciation and behavioral reinforcement. Reflection encourages awareness of personal responsibility and external support, creating a balanced perspective that nurtures humility and recognition of interconnectedness. Integrate gratitude into daily routines to make it habitual. Begin mornings with a brief reflection of what is already present in life and end evenings by reviewing the day's positive experiences. This repetition conditions the mind to prioritize constructive perception and trains neural pathways that emphasize noticing and valuing beneficial aspects of life. Over time, gratitude becomes automatic, influencing thought patterns and emotional responses naturally. Express gratitude to others actively. Communicating appreciation strengthens relationships, fosters cooperation, and enhances social support. Simple acknowledgements, sincere compliments, or verbal recognition of effort contribute to a positive environment and reinforce a sense of community. Gratitude expressed externally also reinforces internal awareness, creating a feedback loop that amplifies mental clarity and emotional stability. Notice small moments that are often overlooked. Gratitude is not reserved for extraordinary achievements. It thrives in recognition of ordinary blessings. A friendly smile, a quiet moment, or a personal skill honed through practice all provide opportunities for appreciation. Developing the habit of noticing subtle positives expands awareness and trains the mind to seek constructive patterns rather than dwell on deficiencies. Link gratitude to actionable insights. Recognize that what is valued can also be nurtured and improved. For example, appreciation for health may encourage better lifestyle choices, while gratitude for relationships may inspire proactive communication and support. Gratitude thus becomes both reflective and proactive, creating a cycle where recognition leads to reinforcement, improvement, and further satisfaction. Use gratitude as a tool for emotional regulation. When facing challenges, focusing on elements that remain positive reduces stress and prevents fixation on negative circumstances. By intentionally recalling aspects of life that provide stability, comfort, or joy, the mind shifts from reactive frustration to constructive problem-solving. Gratitude provides perspective, reducing emotional volatility and enhancing clarity of thought in complex situations. Combine gratitude with mindfulness practices. Being present in the moment allows a deeper connection to experiences, relationships, and accomplishments. Mindful attention amplifies the impact of gratitude because the mind fully engages with the specific qualities of each moment. Observing sensations, interactions, and environments with intention strengthens the connection between awareness and appreciation, resulting in a richer, more nuanced understanding of life. Develop gratitude rituals tied to daily activities. Integrate recognition into tasks such as walking, eating, or completing work. For example, while exercising, acknowledge the strength and function of your body. While preparing a meal, appreciate access to resources and nourishment. Ritualized gratitude reinforces the habit and ensures that it is not limited to formal reflection periods, but embedded in everyday life. Reframe challenges with a gratitude lens. Difficult situations often carry hidden lessons or opportunities for growth. Recognizing learning moments, personal endurance, or the support of others during hardship transforms obstacles into valuable experiences. Gratitude does not ignore difficulties, but contextualizes them as part of a broader pattern of development, fostering resilience and adaptive thinking. Maintain a balance between gratitude and ambition. Appreciation for current circumstances does not negate striving for improvement. Gratitude enhances motivation by providing a foundation of stability and confidence. Recognizing progress and existing strength empowers more deliberate, focused action toward future goals. This balance prevents complacency while reinforcing a positive framework for achievement. Pair gratitude with visualization of outcomes. Reflect on positive experiences and imagine them expanding or deepening in the future. Visualizing growth, strengthened relationships, or enhanced skills reinforces both appreciation and proactive behavior. This combination strengthens mental clarity, focus, and the ability to align daily actions with desired long-term results. Engage in gratitude in moments of transition or uncertainty. Recognizing what remains consistent or beneficial during change stabilizes perspective and reduces anxiety. Gratitude anchors the mind in constructive observation, enabling adaptation without losing emotional equilibrium. This approach enhances decision-making and ensures clarity in the face of ambiguity. Track gratitude progress over time. Recording experiences in a journal or digital log allows review of patterns, recurring themes, and improvements. Tracking provides tangible evidence of positive developments, reinforces the value of reflection, and encourages continuation of the practice. Longitudinal insight into gratitude experiences highlights growth and strengthens consistency in perspective. Use gratitude to strengthen empathy and understanding. Recognizing the contributions and presence of others fosters compassion and social intelligence. Awareness of support networks and external influences cultivates humility and enhances cooperation. Gratitude strengthens relationships, which in turn provides stability, resources, and reinforcement for personal growth. Leverage gratitude to reduce comparison and envy. By focusing on what is already positive and present, the mind avoids fixation on external standards or perceived deficiencies. Gratitude redirects attention from scarcity to abundance, reducing mental clutter and improving emotional resilience. This focus on intrinsic positives fosters contentment while maintaining drive for meaningful improvement. Practice gratitude for personal strengths and achievements. Acknowledge skills, talents, and accomplishments, regardless of scale. Recognizing capabilities reinforces confidence, motivates further effort, and creates a mental baseline from which growth can occur. Awareness of personal agency strengthens decision-making and facilitates proactive engagement with challenges and opportunities. Integrate gratitude into problem-solving approaches. Before reacting impulsively to difficulties, pause to identify aspects of the situation that provide insight, opportunity, or stability. Gratitude can shift perspective, highlight resources, and reveal alternative solutions. This approach improves clarity, reduces reactive behavior, and increases the effectiveness of decisions. Celebrate the act of gratitude itself. Recognizing the practice as a meaningful and transformative habit reinforces its continuation. Consistent engagement produces compounding benefits in mental clarity, emotional stability, and overall positivity. Appreciation becomes a lens through which life is interpreted, shaping perception, guiding action, and influencing relationships. Ultimately, practicing gratitude daily creates a mindset that is attentive, positive, and resilient. The habitual recognition of blessings, strengths, and constructive experiences enhances mental clarity, reduces stress, and improves decision-making. Gratitude transforms ordinary life into a source of insight and motivation, reinforcing growth, strengthening relationships, and fostering enduring emotional balance. The individual who consistently embraces gratitude navigates life with a clearer mind, a more open heart, and a stable foundation for continuous improvement, turning awareness of the present into deliberate and meaningful action. Chapter 9. Surround yourself with excellence to accelerate your personal development. Surrounding yourself with excellence is one of the most powerful ways to accelerate personal development and create an environment that consistently pushes you toward your highest potential. The people, resources, and environments you engage with influence your habits, mindset, and decisions far more than most realize. Excellence is contagious. It sets standards, models behavior, and provides benchmarks for achievement. When your surroundings reflect high performance, integrity, and purpose, your own standards naturally elevate, and complacency becomes increasingly difficult. Choosing to be around excellence is not about status or ego. It is a deliberate strategy to fast-track growth, refine character, and produce results that would be difficult to achieve alone. Begin by evaluating your current circle of influence. Identify the individuals who impact your thoughts, actions, and ambitions daily. Are they ambitious, knowledgeable, disciplined, and supportive? Or do they reinforce mediocrity, negativity, and distraction? Awareness is the first step in shaping an environment conducive to excellence. Honest evaluation allows the recognition of gaps in influence and highlights the areas where change is necessary for accelerated personal growth. Seek mentors and role models who embody qualities you aspire to develop. Learning from those who have already achieved excellence provides insights that would take years of trial and error to acquire independently. Mentorship creates shortcuts in knowledge acquisition, teaches strategic thinking, and models behavior in a practical, real-world context. Observing, questioning, and emulating effective strategies enables growth to occur more rapidly and efficiently. Choose peer groups that challenge and inspire. Surrounding yourself with individuals who strive for continuous improvement, demonstrate discipline, and pursue meaningful goals encourages similar behavior in yourself. Healthy competition within these groups promotes accountability, motivation, and resilience. Peers who hold you to high standards provide both support and constructive pressure, ensuring that growth remains dynamic rather than stagnant. Create environments that reinforce positive habits. Physical spaces influence mindset and productivity. Organize workspaces, learning areas, and living spaces to minimize distraction, encourage focus, and support achievement. The presence of tools, resources, and visual cues aligned with excellence reduces resistance to productive behavior and reinforces the mental state required for high-level performance. Consistent exposure to structured and organized environments trains the mind to operate efficiently and with clarity. Consume media and information that elevate thinking. Books, podcasts, lectures, and educational content should expand perspective, deepen knowledge, and model disciplined thinking. Avoid sources that promote passivity, fear, or superficiality. Curating information intentionally ensures that time spent consuming content actively contributes to development rather than reinforcing mediocrity or distraction. Knowledge intake shapes thought patterns, decision-making, and the language of ambition. Engage in communities that value growth and achievement. Surrounding yourself with individuals who pursue excellence collectively amplifies motivation and reinforces standards of conduct. Participate in forums, workshops, or professional associations where high performance is expected and celebrated. Active involvement in growth-oriented communities encourages accountability, idea exchange, and consistent exposure to challenges that refine skill and character. Distance yourself from negative influences deliberately. Toxic relationships, unproductive habits, and environments that reward complacency drain energy and weaken ambition. Removing these influences is not about judgment, but about creating the mental and emotional space required for growth. Protecting attention, energy, and focus ensures that your efforts are directed toward meaningful and constructive pursuits, rather than being diluted by distraction or conflict. Adopt rituals that reinforce alignment with excellence. Daily routines, reflection practices, and goal-setting habits should model high standards and continuous improvement. Regularly reviewing progress, adjusting strategies, and setting higher benchmarks ensures that exposure to excellence is complemented by personal action. Rituals create consistency, embed standards into behavior, and produce cumulative progress that compounds over time. Learn from the successes and failures of those around you. Observe how effective individuals approach challenges, manage stress, and sustain motivation. Equally, study mistakes and setbacks to understand pitfalls and preventive strategies. Both positive and negative examples offer lessons that accelerate learning and reduce unnecessary trial and error in your own journey. Active observation transforms your environment into a practical learning lab. Prioritize quality over quantity in relationships. It is better to cultivate a few meaningful connections with high-performing individuals than to maintain numerous superficial contacts. Deep engagement fosters trust, accountability, and mutual support. These relationships provide candid feedback, mentorship, and collaboration opportunities that reinforce growth and push you toward higher achievement. Invest in experiences that expose you to excellence. Attend seminars, workshops, and events where high standards are celebrated and modeled. Engaging directly with accomplished individuals and high-quality practices elevates understanding and provides practical examples of how to apply excellence in your life. Immersive experiences reinforce learning and make abstract concepts tangible, accelerating the internalization of productive habits and perspectives. Adopt language and communication styles that reflect high standards. The way you speak, think, and articulate ideas influences both perception and internalized identity. Surrounding yourself with precise, respectful, and intelligent communication encourages the adoption of similar habits. Language shapes thought, and consistent exposure to clear, thoughtful, and professional dialogue strengthens cognitive patterns and decision-making processes. Challenge yourself regularly within your environment. Excellence grows through discomfort and the deliberate expansion of capacity. Surrounding yourself with high performers requires stepping up to match standards and embracing challenges that test skill, knowledge, and perseverance. Facing these challenges with consistency builds confidence, adaptability, and competence, reinforcing a mindset aligned with high achievement. Evaluate feedback and critique carefully. Those who operate at high levels of performance provide valuable insight that may be difficult to recognize independently. Accept constructive criticism with an open mind and apply it to refine skills, habits, and strategies. Surrounding yourself with excellence ensures that feedback is accurate, actionable, and oriented toward improvement rather than superficial evaluation. Observe routines and habits of successful individuals. Excellence is not solely about outcomes, but about the consistent practices that produce results. Study their schedules, decision-making processes, and prioritization strategies. Emulate productive behaviors, integrate effective strategies into your own routines, and continuously refine them to align with personal goals. Observation paired with application accelerates the development of high-performance habits. Recognize the influence of subtle environmental cues. The attitudes, energy, and focus of those around you shape daily behavior more than consciously realized. Immersion in a culture of high standards, positivity, and action primes the mind to respond similarly, producing a natural elevation of behavior, choices, and resilience. Adjusting surroundings intentionally enhances daily performance and long-term growth. Commit to continuous re-evaluation of your environment. As you grow, the standards you require from your surroundings evolve. Regularly assess whether people, spaces, and resources continue to align with your goals and reflect the excellence you strive to achieve. Adjust relationships, physical spaces, and informational inputs to maintain a consistently high-performing context that supports ongoing development. Balance humility with discernment. While surrounding yourself with excellence, remain open to learning without overestimating personal capability. Recognize strengths and weaknesses honestly, and align interactions to promote growth, rather than ego reinforcement. Humility allows absorption of knowledge, strategies, and perspectives from those around you while maintaining the confidence to act decisively. Ultimately, surrounding yourself with excellence transforms the pace and quality of personal development. Exposure to high-performing individuals, productive environments, and meaningful experiences models behavior, reinforces standards, and provides continual opportunities for learning and growth. Consistently aligning with excellence elevates thinking, decision-making, and action, producing results that would be difficult to achieve in isolation. The individual who curates influence consciously experiences accelerated skill development, deeper clarity, and sustained momentum, turning environment into an ally and personal standards into an unwavering foundation for achievement. Chapter 10. Commit to lifelong growth to achieve mastery in every area. Committing to lifelong growth is the cornerstone of achieving mastery in every area of life and creating a trajectory of continuous improvement that compounds over time. Growth is not a finite pursuit, but a perpetual process of learning, refining, and expanding capability, mindset, and skill. Those who achieve mastery understand that complacency is the greatest obstacle to excellence, and that consistent, deliberate effort over years produces levels of competence and influence unattainable through sporadic effort. Lifelong growth is both an attitude and a practice, demanding curiosity, resilience, self-discipline, and an unwavering commitment to improvement regardless of current success or comfort. The first step toward lifelong growth is embracing a mindset that values learning over outcome. Achievement alone does not guarantee continued development. It is the dedication to understanding, refining, and evolving skills that produces sustained mastery. By focusing on the process rather than solely on results, the individual cultivates an adaptable, open mind that is capable of responding to challenges, absorbing feedback, and seizing opportunities for improvement. This mindset fosters resilience, allowing growth to continue even in the face of setbacks or failure. Set clear priorities aligned with long-term objectives. Identify the domains where mastery is desired, whether personal, professional, intellectual, or physical. Breaking larger goals into actionable, measurable components ensures that daily efforts are meaningful and cumulative. Intentional focus allows energy to be allocated efficiently, creating momentum toward excellence in multiple areas simultaneously. Prioritization transforms ambition into structured progress, preventing scattered efforts from diluting potential impact. Establish daily habits that reinforce growth consistently. Mastery is rarely achieved through bursts of effort. It is the result of persistent, deliberate practice. Design routines that challenge ability, expand knowledge, and refine skill, making improvement a non-negotiable component of each day. Small, repeated actions compound over time, producing results that may appear incremental initially, but become transformative over months and years. Discipline in daily practice separates those who achieve mastery from those who only aspire. Commit to deliberate learning across diverse areas. Mastery requires more than technical skill. It demands awareness, adaptability, and the ability to integrate knowledge from multiple domains. Read widely, engage with experts, experiment with new strategies, and seek experiences that broaden perspective. Lifelong learners constantly expand their toolkit, ensuring that growth is multidimensional rather than narrowly focused. Diverse input strengthens creativity, problem-solving, and strategic thinking. Embrace feedback and critique as essential tools. Constructive input provides insight into blind spots, highlights areas for improvement, and accelerates the refinement of skill. Seek perspectives from mentors, peers, and even competitors, evaluating criticism objectively and applying lessons to practice. Feedback transforms effort into meaningful progression, preventing stagnation and ensuring that growth remains aligned with standards of excellence. Reflect regularly on progress and setbacks. Continuous growth requires awareness of what is working, what requires adjustment, and which strategies produce tangible results. Structured reflection allows for course correction, reinforcement of effective practices, and identification of patterns that inform future action. Without reflection, learning remains fragmented, and opportunities to refine skill or deepen understanding may be overlooked. Pursue challenges intentionally. Mastery develops in environments that stretch capability and demand adaptation. Seek tasks, projects, and experiences that push beyond comfort zones. Difficulties provide accelerated learning, strengthen resilience, and enhance problem-solving abilities. Embracing complexity rather than avoiding it creates opportunities to discover latent potential and cultivate confidence in one's capacity to perform under pressure. Maintain resilience in the face of failure. Lifelong growth is accompanied by inevitable setbacks, mistakes, and periods of slow progress. Responding with persistence, analysis, and adaptation turns obstacles into catalysts for development. Each failure is a lesson, each setback an opportunity to refine approach, and each challenge a test of commitment. Resilient individuals continue their pursuit of mastery regardless of temporary outcomes. Balance ambition with patience. Mastery is not instantaneous, it is built incrementally through sustained effort over years. Recognize that growth is a long-term endeavor, requiring patience, perseverance, and a willingness to accept delayed gratification. Impatience often leads to shortcuts, incomplete understanding, or burnout. Long-term perspective ensures that actions today contribute to compound results in the future. Integrate health and well-being into the pursuit of growth. Mental clarity, physical energy, and emotional balance are essential to sustain prolonged effort. Adequate sleep, nutrition, exercise, and stress management strengthen the capacity for focus, learning, and adaptation. The pursuit of mastery is not sustainable without maintaining the body and mind as high-functioning instruments for growth. Develop self-awareness and emotional intelligence. Understanding one's strengths, weaknesses, habits, and emotional responses enhances decision-making and efficiency in the growth process. Mastery requires not only skill, but also the capacity to manage impulses, maintain motivation, and respond constructively to challenges. Emotional intelligence amplifies the effectiveness of learning, relationships, and leadership potential. Leverage mentors and role models strategically. Learning from those who have already achieved excellence provides shortcuts, insight, and perspective that are otherwise difficult to obtain independently. Observe strategies, thought processes, and habits, integrating elements into personal practice while maintaining authenticity. Mentorship accelerates growth by combining guidance with experiential learning, producing more rapid and informed progression. Engage in continuous skill refinement. Even once a level of competence is achieved, maintain deliberate practice to deepen expertise. Repetition with refinement produces precision, efficiency, and adaptability. Mastery is a dynamic state, evolving with context and challenge. Regularly reassessing and adjusting techniques ensures that proficiency is maintained and expanded over time. Adopt a mindset of curiosity and openness. Question assumptions, explore alternative perspectives, and remain receptive to new knowledge. Curiosity drives engagement with learning opportunities, promotes creativity, and prevents stagnation. An open mind allows mastery to extend beyond rote skill into understanding, insight, and innovation. Lifelong growth thrives in those who are willing to explore, experiment, and challenge the status quo. Celebrate incremental progress to maintain motivation. Recognize improvements, skill acquisition, and lessons learned along the way. Acknowledging milestones reinforces effort, provides psychological reward, and strengthens commitment to continued development. Motivation derived from visible progress sustains consistent action and fosters a positive feedback loop that supports long-term growth. Plan for adaptability and evolution. The pursuit of mastery occurs in a constantly changing environment. Anticipate shifts in technology, industry standards, and personal circumstances, and adjust learning objectives accordingly. Flexibility ensures that growth remains relevant, effective, and aligned with emerging opportunities. Adaptability is a hallmark of individuals who sustain high performance over decades. Integrate learning into everyday life. Growth does not occur solely in formal settings. Observe, analyze, and practice skills in daily tasks, interactions, and decision-making. Each experience becomes an opportunity to refine judgment, apply knowledge, and expand capability. Consistent application in real-world contexts solidifies learning and enhances effectiveness across multiple domains. Commit to teaching and sharing knowledge. Helping others develop reinforces understanding, sharpens communication, and strengthens mastery. Explaining concepts, mentoring, and providing guidance transforms knowledge into actionable insight while cultivating leadership and influence. Sharing expertise accelerates both personal and collective growth. Ultimately, committing to lifelong growth produces a state of continuous improvement, evolving competence, and durable mastery. Every day presents an opportunity to expand knowledge, refine skill, strengthen character, and enhance decision-making. Persistent effort, curiosity, reflection, and deliberate action create an upward trajectory that compounds over time. The individual who embraces lifelong growth experiences not only achievement, but also the clarity, resilience, and adaptability necessary to navigate life's complexities effectively. Mastery becomes not a static endpoint, but a dynamic journey where growth is constant, challenges are opportunities, and every day contributes to the creation of a highly capable, fulfilled, and empowered life.